Senior. Good evening.
Good evening.
You are a sports analyst. I look like the analyst and you look like the host.
Which is okay.
I hope you not fire some shots at me because clearly I don't know if I have any answers. But me, who is very lay in this soccer world, when I look at that match, I'm thinking if it was not for that goal, we probably would not have gotten a beating. Am I right? Or is there a lot more than meets the eye?
I think there is a lot more that meets the eye. From the beginning, I think we've been let down by the tactics of our coach. He never. The team set up 5 midfielders. The way they were lined up, clearly he went to defend. He went to protect. I don't know to protect what.
Would you have said that if we had scored
certainly, you could tell from the lineup. You could tell from the lineup when you name 5 midfielders and the way you actually position the players and instruct the players. You can clearly see they were playing to instruction, and their instruction was: do not open up, close the game, block the gaps, don't allow them to enjoy themselves, don't allow them to keep possession, so disrupt them. That's why he kept numbers. He compacted the team. Now that is a problem because, to me, Uganda-Ghana is becoming something of an African derby, West-East African derby in African football. Every time we've met, you don't see 3-0, 5-0, 6-0 kind of victories on either side. But what you see, for example, before this game, 3 wins each, a couple of draws. The last time they beat us in 78 was 2-1. Recently, 0-0 away. Then we beat them 1-0 sometime. It is so close. Now, for me, in a tournament of this nature, 3 games you've got to play. Your first game is the most important game in the tournament. When you go for that game, set yourself out to go and win. Now, if a team you are used to playing and you never really get so much difficulty, you can't set your team up for a victory, you are committing suicide. Why? You clearly saw of the 2 coaches who had the better tactics. Ghana came knowing the strength of Uganda. Which is our strength? Speed. We always use the width. All our games, all our goals, we are at our greatest strength when we use the wide areas. Now, today, Joseph Ochaya, whose main strength is as he bears down on opposition down the left side. Iguma, very good bearing down on opposition on the right side. We use those flanks as though they are the attacking midfielders. They are also, of course, fullback, wing backs. Today, the entire first half, neither of the 2 ever got out of their half. Everybody, those 2 plus the 5 midfielders, were basically just defending. Now, when you do that, you have the initiative to your opposition, and that's what happened in the first half, and that's when we lost the game. I'm
looking at all the detail and the complexities you talk about, 5 midfielders, etc., etc., and I'm thinking, okay, granted, that could be part of the issue, but I'm looking at, with all due respect, the quality of players. I know we've got some incredible players, but again, as a layperson, I'm thinking maybe the other folks, could they have had a higher hand? Many of their players play in the big leagues out there and so on, and maybe that played in too. Away from, even if you had, I don't know, put how many midfielders at the front, etc., etc., all that, in my view as a pedestrian in soccer, all that becomes totally immaterial if, you have not prepared these folks, well enough over the years.
I agree with you entirely on that one. I'm the first to accept that in terms of quality, player by player, we are incomparable. They are much better. But that's the main reason why you already know you are the inferior team when it comes to the players on the pitch quality-wise. So where are you going to bank your chances on? Tactics, strategy, which he got wrong. So already we are the ones who are inferior, and then our tactics are wrong. And guess what? They have the better players. Of course, mentally, they've been at each and every one of the finals of the AFCON for the last, 19 editions? We haven't. They have been at finals. They played at the World Cup. They've won the under-20. In terms of playing at this level, they are so used and comfortable. Yet, they never left anything to chance. They had experience. They've had the quality. They're the ones who, by the way, are going to win it. We never went there as if we are going to win the tournament, but for them, they are here in 2017 to win it because they've been coming close so long, and on their 4 titles in the past, they've not added. So clearly, they don't make a mistake. So today, what happened with them? They stopped us from using our strength. That's tactics. They got it right. They got the goal they wanted, and what did they do? They didn't become careless. They never got excited, as in, we've scored 1, let's go for 2, 3, 4. Because if they had done that, it means they would have brought the pace in, they would have opened themselves up, and remember, they are aware. Allow Uganda to have counter-attacking opportunities. they will hit you because we've done that.
My time is nearly up, but let's talk a bit about administration of soccer in this country. I've read your commentary, heard you speak, and several others, and many a time you have lambasted government, FIFA. You know, you say they don't quite make the cut. FIFA will tell you, look, we're doing everything we can given the resources, and we are doing all the very best that we can. Government will say, look, our resource envelope is not big enough for us to give a good enough handshake to the Cranes and soccer for that matter. And the question that oftentimes lingers in the minds of many Ugandans is, what's the magic bullet, if there be one? How can we get this sorted out?
For one,
because you see, the end justifies the means. I'm sure you've had people who will say, well, it was a surprise, a pleasant one that we made it. If we do get to win this championship, it will be another pleasant surprise. It will be a shock, but a good one, meaning we do not seem to have been prepared for this over the years.
You are spot on. We don't prepare enough. And for me, I keep wondering, do we really ever want to do well at such tournaments or win anything? Why? I'll give an example. The president of FIFA told us it's Project 2019 Cameroon. That's the one we are set to go for. 2017, we are lucky we are gone there, so that's by accident. But what does he do? Or what does Cranes FIFA do? Look at some of the players who, to me, are not supposed to be part of the team which is in Gabon.
What do you mean by that?
The captain, Geoffrey Massa. His days are long gone. He has an automatic place.
What are the alternatives that you have, that we have?
Obviously. For instance, the young man Shaban was coming. We have better players, even at their age, than Massa. For example, Geoffrey Serunkuma, who will never get a chance to start a game. He'll always come from the bench. And of course, a couple of others. For me, if Massa, who scores 2 goals in a year, sometimes no goal in a year, has an automatic place in the national team, at what age? 31, 32? You are telling me we are going through a renaissance and rediscovering the talent available, and Massa still can't start. Remember, why is he captain? For me, a player for me who is as bad as Massa to start as a national team number 9 currently, if he has an automatic place and is the captain, it only means one thing. You gave him the captaincy so that you safeguard his starting place, because it's the only way he can start.
One final question as we wrap this up. I'm just thinking, if this would be what? If you became Cranes coach, manager, would you turn these things around as you're saying them here? Would it be as easy, or would you then realize, hey, the grass is actually green on this side? When you get there, it's a different ball game altogether. Would you turn these things around? Are they as easy as you say?
My approach would be very different. I would determine, first of all, my goal. My goal for me, if I were the coach, was not to go to AFCON now and win it and do well. My goal would be to prepare for a Ugandan team that can last the test of time. So what will I do? I look at the team which I have, overgrown players. I take them out. I give as many chances as possible to as many players who avail themselves in terms of youth and age. Shaban is an example. Bring more of such. Give them opportunity. Wait for 2019 if you want to build that team. Use them in this tournament to gain the experience, to become more confident in their abilities. Then I can try to use them. For me, I'm not one for we have to do it now and it has to be now. No, I'm one for preparation. And that's what I try to do. For this particular tournament, I'm disappointed that we are not clear why we went to AFCON. We've been so desperate to get there, and that's all we wanted, the majority of us. The problem is, once we got there, what did we want after? Clearly, for me, we don't know what we wanted. Yes, we are there, but do we want to go and do well, to get out of the group, to win? It's not clear. The strategy and tactics today showed me we don't know why we went there. Why? First half, defensive. Second half, take 2 defensive midfielders in, bring, and in the end have 5 attackers. So you are chasing the game you could have actually gone for at the start. You are playing Ghana. You're not going to be doing yourself a favor. Who is our next opponent? Egypt. Now, for me, when you talk about Egypt, as
you're worrying me, Aldrine. I get
so worried because Egypt as our next opponent, and we've got to win at least a game. For me, that's my disappointment. We never really
Let's hope for the best. But I hear you when you say we need to have a vision, we need to know what we want. There's a saying that if you aim at nothing, you hit it each time you try. So what are we aiming at? Aldrine Nsubuga Senior, thank you for talking to us.
You're welcome.
And that was Newsnight.